Praise God, happy family. My name is David Tikva. Welcome all on this space where we get to learn, interact, and most importantly, discover the purpose that God created us to fulfill here on the universe. It's another amazing, beautiful day with a new amazing episode that I want to share with you today. Yeah, and I want to start by opening and narrating to you this story so that at least we can have a wide perspective of this topic that I want to discuss today. So one day, a man come from work. He was so tired and get inside the house and tell the wife, please cook for me some meal. And McHugh, the wife had already cooked the food. Let me give you character traits of this beautiful wife. He did everything right. He welcomed the husband, everything right, and all the things that a lady is ordained to do, even from the Bible and from the culture. The wife did everything. But on this particular day, she had already cooked a meal, and she was so tired and just needed to welcome the husband, have the dinner together, and then sleep. But when the husband comes in the house and requests the wife, please, today I'm just feeling to eat this sort of a food. And the wife, early in the kitchen, she was kind, very mad in a way, and she was cursing. How could you not care about me? I've been tired, I've already prepared the dinner, and then you just come and tell me to have a different meal. And now at that night, God appeared to this beautiful lady as she was sleeping and told her, if today I take your soul, you will not come to paradise, simply because your reactions toward this, it was a test and you failed. And let me now give you this another different story. And McHugh, I told you this lady was doing everything right. Now let me give you a different story before I bring now my perspective on my topic of the day. So there's this husband also, very good, loving, caring husband in the family. And now one day he decides that he wants to go to prayer center and pray. And now while he was doing all these things, the wife on the other hand told him, please, my husband, please don't leave us alone. Be here at least for a few days, then you can go later. And then the husband, he decides that I want to go, and he goes. And then he pray to the prayer center. And now God's knocking him at night and tells, hey, my buddy, how are you? I'm good. But now I have this one thing against you. You didn't obey. You allowed your ego and your massage to control you and feel like just because you are the man, no one can tell you not to go. And then God tells him, there's no need of pretending to be here praying, because you left your wife on the other hand. She's very bitter, she's bleeding, she's in pain. You didn't listen to her. You should go back home and make things right before you come here. So now my topic today is, the non-violent communication. These are very minute little things that we ignore, but let me tell you the impact or outmath of these things. And I'm gonna bring it in a perspective whereby the way people talk, the way people react after a situation or something, because we are living in eras and in generations whereby we are very sensitive to respond. In every action you want to react, and let me tell you something. The way we react, either secretly, either we will talk verbally, either we will act, either we will absorb that thing and let it oven in our hearts, and that is exactly what happened. Someone will insult you, or probably will speak in a manner that you will not want or like, and then you will absorb those kinds of words. You will put them in your heart, you will oven them. And we know very well scientifically, if you boil something, there's always that breaking limit, and that is what has turned the world to be in chaos. That is what has done the relationship, the marriage, our relationship with children, our relationship at church as we serve God, and even at world at large. when the leader stands on the podiums and probably speak things, we've seen them. And let me tell you something. The Bible has talked about tongue in the book of James. It's untamable organ. So you can imagine, if you can act on everything that the tongue speaks out, you can act on everything, the menace that you can create, the chaos that you can create. So that is why it's very, very sensitive. Let's not create the circling habit of frustrations, of bitterness, because today it will be, I'm in the position of a victim. Tomorrow you will be the person in the position of a victim. And if we carry out the bitterness, the frustrations down to our generations, what we will be doing, we will be multiplying this anger. And let me tell you something. The devil, he is very wise. He has this mechanism. And I said, as I started earlier, it's a very minute, those little things that you can ignore them. But when they just build up, and this is what the devil does. He will get a loophole in your life, on those little things. He will get a loophole, and what happens is, when you give the devil that little ground in your life and just ignoring it's just something that, and he always bring this kind of a mechanism, defensive mechanism. Someone hurts you, and you react back because you feel like you are right and you are justifiable to do it because you think that you are right, and that is what exactly the devil does. He will make you feel that you are the right to justify, to fight back, and this is what we are calling the violent communications. When you fight back, you see, you are either going to kill, you are either going to silence, you are either going to completely erase that kind of a person, and it's very, very dangerous. Are you together on that point? So we are supposed to be very, very vigilant not to give the devil a loophole in our lives, because the moment you give the devil a legal ground in your life, the moment you give the devil that chance, he always takes everything. Let's come to churches. I don't know whether you've ever had, you've interacted with Christians. Let me tell you something. If there's any place in your life that you can have a lot of battles, even in spiritual realms, on anything, it's church, where people gather. You'll come dressed in a way, and then somebody from nowhere, he will come to you and just tells you, hey, you don't have any other attire, you always come with this kind of clothes all the time. In one way or the other, that somebody has provoked you. You are either a Christian or not. It's some kind of a verbs, words that it will triggers you. If you react on that, definitely next time you will not need to attend that church. Are you together? You are in the ministry probably of worship. That is another field that has a lot of battle. You will go, you will worship together with them, have that good voice, and then there's somebody who is a gatekeeper in that church. Do you know they will find a reasons to kick you out? Those are, and probably they will start maybe by, oh, you are not, you need to stay at least 3 to 4 months so that at least you can serve here, you need to do this and this. They will have a reason to kick you out, and this is what we are calling, the violent communication. The violent communication is whereby you stand in the gap to stand as a defensive mechanism just to prevent other people from accessing, and you create frustrations in their life. And if they absorb this and let it drive in their lives, they will also go and extend. So that's why you see we have a lot of a toxic environment. The world is so toxic, we are hearing all over the world in news, all the breaking news, chaos, fightings. These are things which we can actually solve them by not absorbing, the toxic or the violent, and we react positive. Look, as we progress, let's look the story of Joseph. Joseph had all the possible rights, if we can have a human nature, to talk about Joseph. Remember, his just hated by his brother for no apparent reason, just because he has a dream, just because he has a vision, just because he want to grow big, and just because he had a coat of many colors. And the brothers feel like, this person we really need to completely wipe him out of our family. And that is exactly the thing they did. But Joseph goes he sold, he goes to the Potiphar's house, and then story progress, and then he goes to jail. And that is now a good example of a story that I want us to check and we reflect in our lives. Joseph had all the right, being even accused of the Potiphar's wife. He's thrown into jail, and now, remember, he's not from his country, so he had all the reason just to be silent, careless. You've arrested me without even doing the due diligence of this case or anything, or giving me a room to justify for my case, and nobody cares about him. He's jailed, but on that jail, he's tested with these two people who comes and give the dream, he interpret, and then this one person tells him, when I get out, I'm going to speak a good word for you, and they'll come and delivers all, saves you from this jail. But he forgets him. And that is one way of how God now prepares you. God will give you a partner, a child, or something in your life, either a co-worker, something he will make around your circle. You have that kind of a person who will always be provoking, who will not care about you, who will not remember you. They will always be there for you when they are need. And this is what we are calling the way you react when these kinds of situations happen in your life matters a lot and speaks a lot. And then the king has a dream. It's so pattern, and I believe this is what God destined it to be, so that at least he can glorify himself and justify for Joseph. And then Joseph now have a very big test here. The king tells him, I have this dream and I want you to interpret to me. Joseph had all the reason to say, I don't care, this is not my country, I want to go back to my country. And the good thing, either way out, Joseph would have been glorified either in that country or a different country, but he just humbled himself and forget everything and just interpret and save the entire country. And out of that act, he saved even his family. And when they come back, he just forgive them. He didn't count all the wrong things they did to him and either punish them or and that is exactly how we are supposed to live as Christians, not even as Christians, as people who are here on this world. We are not supposed, I know there are those people who will provoke you. Look, even Hannah and Penina, the moment she's going to altar and offer her double sacrifice, that is when Penina will provoke her more, so that when she goes to in the presence of the Lord, she will go bitter, she will go angry, she will go frustrated. And let me tell you something, the moment you allow bitterness, the moment you allow frustrations, the moment you allow depression, why do we have a lot of so many cases of depression currently in this world? All over we have con counselors, because they are taking advantage of the situations. And yet we have we have a role here that we can use, we can work with and heal the world. The nonviolent communication. You don't need to react on anything that you see around. You don't need to let bitterness, because the moment you have a bitterness in your heart, you allow it to take control of you, you will be so toxic. Rather than healing, you will be creating more pain and more pain and more pain to you and people around you. And let me tell you something, whatever that you hold, you embrace, that is what you attract. You can't be toxic, you can't be so violent, you can't be that kind of a person who is after revenge and expect good things to come to you. No, what will come, it's what you will attract, and what you have embraced is what you will bring around your life and your circle. So if you want good people around you, be good person. If you want to have a good partner in your life, then be good. It doesn't, it's not a transactional thing. There's this notion of the world has, I will do exactly the way you do. I'm going to reciprocate the energy that you offer. That is not how it's supposed to be, because if we do that, then there's somebody who will always feel like, I'm being used in these situations, I'm being manipulated in this situation, I'm being unwanted in these situations, I'm the only one who give the bigger share here, and it's never coming back to me. Be good irrespective of what you are getting or not. So let me just wind up this unhanging story of Penina and Hannah. She used to be provoked every time she go to offer the sacrifice, and Hannah, on the other hand, she went positively to God, and that is why God gave him Samuel. Samuel is that kind of a gift in your life. It comes as a reward of not repaying evil with evil. It's that kind, letting God fight for your battle, letting you doing good irrespective. When you do good to the bad people, when you start taming your tongue not to speak curse but speak blessing, then you are imitating Jesus Christ. Let me tell you how sometimes I handle this kind of pressure and tension in my life. We are living in this world. Sometimes you'll take one of your good pictures, probably post on your social medias, and you're just posting with a good caption there, probably with a Bible verse, and telling people God has done in my life. Then someone from nowhere probably knows you, or Squiddo account will come there, comment something so hurtful, probably body shame you, probably do the worst thing that you can imagine here on the earth. And then now let's be in that kind of a situation. You just open and scroll your handles and you just come across this kind of thing. How do you handle this? Let me now tell you how I do. One thing, I just relax. I don't act immediately. I don't want to get there, try to defend myself or abuse this kind of a person. No, just relax and tell God, in this Jesus Christ, in these situations, how would you have handled this kind of a situation? Because the more you react, the more you speak out the curse and try to justify, you will be creating a toxic environment. And one thing I usually say is this: these people are there, they are the thorn in a flesh in our lives. They've been placed there so that they can trigger your emotion. And if you can be in a position whereby you can be able to tame your emotions, your reactions, and just relax and let the wave pass, what comes next, it's so calm wind, with no waves, with no storms. And when you let it go, whatever that was planned by the enemy to get a legal ground in your life, it will not avail. So you will be left unshakable, firm and strong. And on the other hand, you will create unforgettable, those kinds of teachings to that kind of a person. I was doing this to trigger them, but rather than abusing me or probably falling into my trap, they've blessed me, and you will change the perspective, the ideology of that person. But the moment you indulge yourself in these kinds of violent communication, you want to fight back, you want to hit back, you will, in every battle, there's always that kind of a casualty. There'll be it minor or major, but there's someone who will go hurted, and you either like it or not, there will be collateral damage on both of you. You will probably mess your reputation, mess your heart, mess your relationship with God. And this is exactly things that we are supposed to look and work. And it's my prayer today, as we turn the world to be a better place, as we heal all the unspoken words in our hearts and all the pains that we have carried bleeding all in our lives, I pray that God, He will heal you. God will give you revelation, understanding, wisdom, of not reacting to every action that you see around. There's some things you just win. There's some battles you win by being silent. There are those battles God will tell you, be still. because he don't want you to react. He knows when you react, you'll be creating a legal ground for the devil in your life. He knows when you react, you will be bringing violence in your life. He knows very well, and that's why he tells you, be still, let this battle, allow me to fight for you this battle, because I don't want you to be hurt, I don't want you to be injured, I don't want you to carry on this circling bitterness, depression. Let me heal and let me fight for you other battles. Let's make the world a paradise. Don't do something what you can't want somebody else to do for you in your life. And if it happen in your life, because man is to error, be easy to say sorry. Be easy, to be that kind of a person who will tell someone else, I know I'm not always the best kind of a person, the best version, but I try. And every time I step on you, rather than cursing me, let's sit down and discuss this so that it cannot repeat itself again. Let's have a positive kind of conversation that will bring healing to the world, that will bring stability to the world. Because the moment you don't tame your tongue, which is very impossible to do it because it's untamable organ, and the moment someone else on the other hand, the non-communication skill, it turns to be violent, then what we will be doing, we will be fighting. We will be creating legal ground for the devil to ignite more and more and more and more fighting and chaos and depressions and all the things. So let's be positive in our marriage. Marriage is one of the sensitive places. I usually say this: if you want to know your partner is truly saved or serving Christ and faithful and right with God, ask your partner about them. They'll tell you the true real characters and colors of your partners. And it's easy, because if we can take these non-violence communication skills in our marriage, involve them, instill them little by little, it's atomic habit. Each and every day we work things out to be better, little by little. Those baby steps each and every day. It won't miraculously manifest in one single day, but at least you'll be, if you instill these things, little by little, even in our relationship with our kids, our children, sometimes we'll react very violent towards them because of very minute, minor things that they do. But if we can talk to them, tame them little by little, teach them, as we instill the good virtues, when they grow up, even when they walk straight out of those ways, there's always that voice which will tell them, come back. You are not brought up for those channels. Come back to where you belong. So that is my take for today, and my theme, it's non-violent communication. Through the little things that we do, we encounter each and every day. And if we can perfect this, if we can grow good and not be violent, but we work things out, we tame our tongues to be blessing to others, and if we are provoked, we can be Hannah in the Bible. Until we achieve our Samuel, we will have a better world, a safe world for each and every person to thrive and manifest what God destines in their lives. So God bless you so much, and it's my prayer today that God will work things out for you. Be still. Don't react to each and everything that you see around in your life. Let some battles God fight for you. Be keen. Don't create a legal ground for the enemy in your life, and don't inhabit bitterness and pain, because you'll be fueling those kinds of things and triggering them to amount to be Mount Everest, kind of anger and bitterness and revenge, which will mess things around. So God bless you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you on the next episode. God bless you.